So after watching MrBeast's 7 days in solitary confinement video, I sat there thinking to myself that was pretty easy. This thought made me scour the entire MrBeast channel, and all I'm going to say is that if I did those challenges, I'd be a billionaire right now. Starting with his most recent video, protect $500,000 and you keep it. This video is light work for me. For the first challenge, MrBeast has 5 tanks aiming at your money, and you have 24 hours to defend it with his entire bank account at your disposal. First up, I'd surround the prize with water barrels to slow down the bullets once they get close. Then I would go to loads of scrapyards and heap as much metal as possible in between the cash and the tanks. Finally, I'd put Gorlock the Destroyer on the front line. Maybe not that last part, but still. There's gonna be so many things for the tank bullets to shoot through, it's practically impossible for me to lose. So after surviving stage 1, Jimmy comes in with about 100 crates of TNT capable of making an explosion bigger than when your mum jumps. And then he surrounds the vicinity of my money with it. This is about to be easy. I just want to point out though that surely this part of the video was super dangerous. Surely like the smallest trigger could explode all of the TNT when you're next to it. I would be anxious as hell building in that pit. Anyway, I would start by covering every last crate in sand, baking powder and water because all 3 of those things will tame the explosion. Next, I would set up brick walls right next to the TNT to minimize the blast radius and keep the main explosion as minimal as possible. Why am I talking like I'm smart? I got the worst grade in my entire school for science. I would next reposition all of the scrapyard items to surround the center instead of only defending one side of the pit. For the final 30 minutes, I would use a hose to drench the whole base in water. This will make it harder for the flames to spread. The explosion goes off and the $500,000 is chilling. That's only phase 2 of this MrBeast video though, and he throws stage 3 right in our face. I have to defend my money from an army of inflamed cars full of gasoline dropping from the sky. Plus, there's an extra secret attack that I don't know about. Knowing MrBeast, it's probably a nuclear bomb. Now, the actual contestants here were stupid and included wood in their defense. I think a fetus would have a smarter plan than that. No offense. The guys seem nice, but surely you know wood is not a good idea when fire and gasoline is involved. Anyway, here's my plan. To start, I get a box of fireproof glass and place it over the glass from earlier. As extra security, I would pour liquid concrete all over the center of the base and wait for it to solidify. Concrete works very well defending against fire. Then I would surround the area of cash with brick walls and finally spray water everywhere again. When MrBeast tells me the surprise, he's launching fireballs at my base. I'm unfazed because this defense is impenetrable. Give me my $500,000. That can get me 500,000 Greg sausage rolls. Now we have one of my favorites MrBeast videos because laser beams in it. The last to take their hands off the jet keeps it. If you have any willpower, this challenge is a piece of cake. I would just be really annoying and shout a lot to annoy my competitors, and I'd even go around kicking them. At the start of the challenge, Jimmy stated that you can't push anyone. Nothing about kicking was in the rules. My foot is going all over people, not in that way. He also didn't mention a no phone policy, so I'd use my other hand for dopamine and entertainment. I'd also keep in contact with my family for motivation to not lift my hand from the prize. To grief the others, I'd bring sunflower oil in my pocket and dot it on random sections of the plane to make their hands slip off. I'd remember exactly where I did it as well, so I don't ruin my own chances. In the end game, when he makes you place your hand in the air for the rest of the challenge, I'd use my oil again and pour it all over the competition hands so they slip off. Then I walk away with a free private jet. The only downside is that I have to give it to someone else, but I just let Kidmos have it to prove that I don't abuse him. You can comment hashtag Kidmos is chilling now instead. Next, we have ages 1 all the way to age 100, and I'm walking right into box 16, boys. Now, before I get into how I'm going to win this, I'm just pointing out that every so often you get offered a vote. You either press the green button for a challenge or the red button to skip the challenge. I'm taking a challenge every single time. I have infinite motivation, so I would only go out to one of those, so I'm just going to explain how I'd survive each one. The track the ball in the cup challenge is super simple. The MrBeast crew moved it so slow that I'm convinced my nan wouldn't lose track of it. If I was to get bored, I'd just talk to my neighbor, and if anybody asked me for help, I'd just grief them and tell them the wrong cup. Everybody who lost challenge 1 should be embarrassed in themselves. The incompetence of not being able to follow the correct cup is terrible. Anyway, MrBeast didn't like the griefers and decided that the next challenge allowed everybody to vote for someone to be eliminated. Well, unlucky for him, I created the Under 20s Alliance, and we all group vote whoever we want, so I'm pretty much invincible. After this challenge, when MrBeast gets the Jenga towers out, I'm going to laugh because I played that game every day in the summer when I was 6. My parents used to drop me off at some kids center and I became a professional at Jenga. On top of this, all of the actual contestants lost the game super early on, so I would definitely outlast them. Now we have the marble challenge, where each person was given a partner and 20 marbles. They could play whatever game they wanted, and whoever had 20 marbles at the end got to stay in the game. Whoever didn't was forced to leave their box. Now for this, I don't care who I partnered with, but I would play the classic school game of bogeys. Me and my partner would take turns saying it, getting progressively louder, and whoever MrBeast caught first lost. I have a ridiculous amount of experience in this, because every time I had a supply teacher, I would play bogeys. I have full-on strategies and everything. Join my Discord and ask me for them if you really want. Anyway, that's irrelevant because Jimmy surprises the last 5 contestants with a final vote.
In this challenge, the 95 contestants who have already left will vote. And the 3 of you with the most votes are gone.
Wow.
I'd be completely fine here because I just see if you vote for me, you hate charity. Alright, so it's a 1v1 and I'm not gonna lie, this is tough. It's hard to explain the challenge, so I'll let Beast do it again.
I'm going to flip a coin to decide who gets to look inside of their briefcase, making them the only person on set that knows where the money is.
It's a game of bluffery.
That's right, because then it's up to the other person to choose which briefcase they want to take home.
There is no strategy to this, it is pure luck. I'm just gonna swap with my opponents and hope for the best. If I win my money, I'm buying a golden toilet with it. A man like Amos deserves luxury poop. Now we have every country on Earth fighting for $250,000, and I'm about to explain why I would win it for England. But before I do, make sure to subscribe and help me reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of 2024. Challenge 1 is literally a race, and I used to be a track athlete, so this is free. Unlike Nicocado Avocado, I'm dusting everybody confidently in this race, and it's guaranteed passage into the next round. For the average Joe though, just drink a can of Monster and you'll be flying through the race. If that stuff can pull you through an all-nighter, it can definitely win you a MrBeast video. On challenge 2, it's parkour, and you have 5 people trying to do it at the exact same time. I'm going to go first on the course, and if anybody tries to contest me, I'm kicking them straight off of the platform. The same goes for anybody who tries to overtake me, because I'm going to go as slow as possible to make sure I don't fall. You will not see Amos losing this challenge. For the third challenge, people get to vote players out, and each vote you get moves the target's back. The goal is to hit the target with a bow and arrow. Now, not to brag or anything, but I've done scouts for 6 years, so this is no task at all. Aim a bow slightly above the bullseye and slightly to the left and I'll hit it. If you don't believe that my method works, Google how to use a bow and arrow. The target would be far back because I'm English, so I get loads of votes, but I'm confident, bro. Sadly though, I drop out of this video in the very next challenge because MrBeast offers everybody 10 grand. Being honest, I would bag this money and I see this as winning anyway. A new PC to make even better videos, easy bags. Coming up next, we've got MrBeast's hardest challenge on his entire channel, and it's spending 7 days straight in solitary confinement. I'm about to make this sound easier than getting a date with your grandma. Firstly, I create a daily routine and appreciate the fun in every single small activity that I do. Secondly, I'd create goals to make the time seem more meaningful. For example, mine would be to create 1,000 video ideas for the Amos YouTube channel. All of a sudden, it feels like life has a purpose again, so I wouldn't go insane in there. Thirdly, I pretend I'm playing sports in my mind. I just run and kick things pretending I'm in the World Cup finals or something, bro. That would be entertaining as hell. I would even meditate to keep my mind in the right space. Finally, I would take a piece of all of my meals and create an art piece with it. In modern day society, I could sell that for at least $100,000, so at least I'm being productive. If MrBeast is watching this video, invite me to a challenge please, because I can probably win whatever you throw at me. Speaking of throwing, I threw away my entire digital footprint on the video on screen right now.